What's going on, everybody? It's Derrick.
Dog.
And it's Sam.
And we have with us Tyler from Better Than Static Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me.
I'm going to be honest, as soon as I went to say your podcast name, my brain went and goes, yeah, no, I'm not pulling up that file name. And I was like, that's what it was.
File is corrupted. Please run.
Error 404, memory not found.
No problem.
But we agreed to start drinking after the podcast.
No, after the day at work I had, that happened before the podcast, guys.
That was during.
Gosh, that rough of a day.
Yeah, man.
Well, Sam, why don't you tell us about your day, actually?
So, just like everything that could have gone wrong with one of our clients seemed to go wrong. And when I reached out for help from my superiors, they just weren't really there. So, I kind of got the brunt of everything today. So, it was awesome.
Yikes.
That's how life works, man.
Awesome.
Been there. I've been there. Don't feel bad.
Yep, nope, been there too.
Yeah, everybody has those days.
Where all the bosses are out at the meeting and you're like, I needed help, like, now.
I needed
an
an adult.
What's worse is when you're the only one in a meeting that's really important and somebody asks you a question that you don't know and your
You're
boss
like-
isn't there.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm
That
supposed
happened
to
to
know
me
this.
once at the hospital. They're like, we need the supervisor here. And I was like, yeah. Want to remark? Oh, wait, I'm the supervisor today. Ooh, You know what? It's time for some delegation.
Or that moment where you're somewhere, like, years ago I was at a camp, and I was, like, one of the guys that was actually supervising kids. It's like, hey, let's go to the adult of the group, and it's like, oh, crud, I am the adult. What do I do? It's like, what do I do now? It's like, what's the next...
You called your mom.
You
Mom!
fake it until you make it. Let me just tell
Exactly.
you. Been there.
You learned to play a new version of tag. Let's see, I went to Ready Player One this week.
Nice.
Oh,
Dude,
actually,
I went
today.
last week.
So good.
Oh, that's awesome. I loved it. It was great.
I was sitting there going, I'm getting so many references, and I know I'm missing so many more.
That was me, and I tried to watch the trailer for it, and I was like, all right, what's going to be in this movie? Oh, everything pop culture ever? That's great.
I've
just
trained my
overload.
entire life for this.
Yeah,
Dude,
exactly.
There was a lot of 80s music references that I did not pick up, like band labels, were like people's shirts. Almost everyone had a band shirt on, and I didn't pick up a single one of them. And then I watched a video after I got home, and I was like, oh.
I'm slightly judging you, man.
No, like, there were things like really obscure, sometimes like really obscure bands, and you would not, there's only part of the logo, so when you look at the whole art, you're going, oh, okay, yeah, I can understand how I missed that.
The cool thing about Spielberg, though, is like those aren't gonna hurt you since you didn't find those in the movies. But he did it for the people that are looking for them, like to make their day. And I think that's awesome about Spielberg, that he has something for everybody.
I asked this question, I'll ask you guys this. Are those Easter eggs or cultural references? Because they are not exactly hidden.
They're cultural references.
Yeah, they're references because, I mean, also an Easter egg I think would like when you found it, it would impact you some way. Like that's just like cool to remember.
Like,
Yeah.
an Easter egg would be if, like, in the original, like, Resident Evil, if one of the name tags on a zombie said, like, Jill Valentine. It wasn't, like, a massive thing, but if you look closely enough, oh, there's Jill Valentine.
Have any of you read the book?
No, but one of my crew has.
Okay, because I was going to say, every time anybody says Easter egg, I want to chuckle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like mentioned every other word almost in the movie.
Yeah. It was really
Nice.
good. But I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, because I know you and Sam and Doug have not seen it.
No.
And
We
then
have
tomorrow I'm going to go see A Quiet Place.
I'm either seeing Quiet Place after we get done recording or tomorrow after I get our episode uploaded.
It just looks so good from all the trailers. It's like, if the trailer makes you jump and be like, man, this is going to be awesome, it's just going to be a good movie.
And it earns those jump scares.
Yeah, it's like, hey, everything's quiet. And then what's worse is that the dead silence and you hear whatever it is coming. And you're like, oh,
and you can't
no.
scream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would have a constant underwear change if I lived in that world.
Right?
A matter
Hey,
of just
Sam.
sitting there, it's like, I had 3 heart attacks just now. It's great.
Hey Sam, remember my apocalyptic idea? You wouldn't even need that.
What was your apocalyptic idea?
In
So-
case, I'll let Sam.
We were
preface
joking
it.
the other day is that if like I kicked my door open yesterday or tomorrow and like the end of the world was happening, my quality of life would have gone up by at least like 12 points. We were joking about that. It's like, yes, I've been dreaming about this day for years and preparing for years. But then Doug comes up with this outrageous scheme.
Here's my idea for the apocalypse. I'm going to be the 6-foot-tall, 300-pound dude carrying a bottle of Jack Daniels and wearing a dress. Why? Because do you really want to mess with the dude who just, wanders into town? You're not sure if he's half drunk, but he's definitely wearing a dress? No, you don't. Why? Because I can put all kinds of guns under the dress. I need to stop and use a bush. I don't have to deal with anything. It's just like, yeah. That's my apocalypse plan.
Why don't you just wear an action kilt?
No, because it needs to be a floral print dress.
Well, I mean, you
because
could go a floral skirt. It doesn't have to be a full-fledged dress.
no full-fledged dress.
The reason
'Cause are you-
is that if you saw like some dude wandering around, would you really go up to him and ask, "Hey, what's up with the dress?"
Everybody would just go, "It's the dress-wearing bandit." Huh. I heard he took out the entire clan of, like, cannibals yesterday. We better not deal with him.
Whatever-
It'd be memorable.
Whether you're good or bad, your alignment's definitely got to start out with chaotic. If
Oh,
that's your
true.
Oh,
Amen
yeah.
to that. So, Doug, how was your week? What'd you do?
Uh,
Anything
went to-
significant?
No. Moving on. Did laundry. That's pretty much it.
He hung out with me at work. It was great.
Oh yeah. I
What
always
about
hang
you?
out with you at work.
What about you, Tyler?
just actually recorded an episode of Better Than Static with Doug today. Doug and our buddy and our one of our guys, Lucas, and that was a really good episode. We talked a lot about John Krasinski and Quiet Place. No spoilers though, so don't worry about it.
Nice.
Other than that, I watched Ready Player One last Friday. Been playing a lot of Fortnite. That's about it. That's like the only game I'm playing right now. I'm trying to get good to where my streams get better because that's what I stream.
Nice. Nice. It sounds good, like a good plan.
Yeah, I mean practice makes perfect,
I feel
right?
like sending in the little GIF that we had of "Get Good" from
Good.
from the "Praise Till You're Hollow" video clip.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and introduce the topic, and then we'll go to our YouTube roundup. Sound good to you, gentlemen?
Sounds
See-
great, man.
All right. Our main topic for today, since we're all content creators, is what part of content creation do you struggle the most with? Anyone who spent a lot of time talking to me probably knows my answer, but we'll find out later. Let's go ahead and go to our YouTube roundup. So we first have Simon's tattoo reveal, the meaning
Yeah.
of the code.
You guys wanted to make me cry, didn't you? That's why you sent me that video.
Seriously.
I was weeping at work when I watched it. I mean, I was not watching it at work.
I just got done working out, so like I was sweating, and then like I started sweating from my eyes. I'm like, what is this? What is this
I
madness?
started sweating
What
from
is
my
this
eyes,
water?
and then you got the salt in your eyes. And
Now, now, are you familiar with this group before?
I am not. I might go back and watch some of their content though after watching it.
I've been watching this group, Eat Your Kimchi, for about 10 years now. So, and I seen that, and there was another video that his wife Martina done about her illness. But dude, this video made me weep. Like, unironically, weep.
Well, like, do you guys have tattoos or anything like body art?
I don't, but I want tattoos.
I have
So
obesity stretch marks.
I mean, that counts too. Those have a story.
You earned those tiger marks.
It's called Little Debbie.
Nice.
Anyway, do you have tattoos?
Yeah, I have two, and what I love about tattoos is their story. And I'm one of my pet peeves is when people just get a tattoo to get a tattoo and they don't have any meaning behind it. Not that like it's bad or anything. It's just why do something unless it has purpose? And you know my two tattoos they're from mission trips I've taken. Like I went to Bangladesh, and one of my tattoos is a Bible verse in Bengali, and then my other one is a Lakota word meaning prayers go up and blessings come down. And then when he started going into the meaning of his, I'm just like, you know, you got him because of pain. I got mine because I wanted to remember my experiences, and I connected with that, and like I legit cried. I hate you guys so much for making me feel emotion.
I did not expect the video to be that moving.
No.
Like, I was like, oh, okay, it's a hard one. And then I was like going, oh my gosh. Because, like, all the tattoos I want are have a meaning to me as well. But they're super geeky and nerdy. It's one of those, alright. They look, on the surface, they look like comic book references, for which they are. But when you realize why I want them, it's like, alright, cool. Like, I want the Kryptonian symbol for Doomsday. And everybody's like, why do you want Doomsday? It's like, well, because he is all about overcoming challenge. Overcoming adversity and growing stronger because of that adversity. It's pretty deep right there.
I know one of like my next tattoos, it's going to be a shield, but I'm taking my design heavily from the Master Shield. Or not Master Shield, it's
Hyrule Shield.
The
Hyrule
Helion shield, yeah.
Yeah. I'm taking like the outline shape and like some of the design on the inside, and it's like, and it comes from two of my favorite verses in the Bible. It's like, you know, Psalms 3:3, Lord be the lifter of my head and be my shield about me, and then like have the shield of faith from Ephesians chapter 6. Like, yes, it's nerdy and it expresses me as a person, but it also has meaning.
I like it.
So I love meanings that are creative, like, you know, the Kryptonian symbol for Doomsday. That's awesome. Like, I love that.
Yeah. And the other one that has a lot of meaning, but also is very, like, pop culture to me, is I actually want the Hedgewitch tattoos from the Magicians. And they are, in the show and in the book, they're representing getting stronger. Like, you're learning more, have a higher rank. And so they're accomplishments. So I'm wanting to get, it's a star with a keyhole in it, but I'm wanting to get a couple of them for graduating college, get one for, getting married, birth of the first kid. So it's like, they're achievements, but it's also like,
It's gonna suck to be that second kid. You only said first kid. Just like,
I only have
imagine,
one.
I just imagine, like, you said only, like, the first kid. I imagine kid dude's like, where's my tattoo? You don't matter.
You don't matter enough. But
Well, that's like Michael Jones from Achievement Hunter. He's got the three hearts for Zelda, or not for Zelda, for Link. Like his the 3 hearts of Link's life. Like he's got one for his wife, one for his kid. What's he saving the other one for? Like, is it for another kid? What if he has 3 kids? That third kid doesn't get a heart.
I actually think the story behind it is that's himself. That's basically like himself almost. It's like, that's kind of an interesting idea.
But that also puts you in a corner if you decide, like, one day, hey, I want to have another kid. You're, like, limited to 3 tattoos.
You can always add more hearts. You can get a heart container.
Well, I mean, like Breath of the Wild, you have infinite hearts now. I mean, it's just you get like 70 now.
You're not wrong.
The only tattoo I wanted was the Green Lantern's symbol.
That's okay. I love that because I'm a huge Green Lantern fan.
The question is, would you get the Green Lantern tattoo on your actual finger?
Well, yes and no. Me and my fiance have decided that, obviously, for one of our anniversaries after we eventually get married, I said eventually, right? Basically, get that as like an anniversary of the Green Lantern motto.
Nice. Now, I want to ask you a question. Did you say the word eventually?
Eventually.
Okay, just want to make sure you said it. Sam, are you wanting to get tattoos or anything?
See, I have a tattoo that I really like, and it's like, if I could describe it to you, it's almost a Celtic Trinity design. My friend Jared has, like, I want to say it's almost basketball sized, like, on his arm. If it makes softball size, sorry. I went through and I just, like, over exaggerated there beyond all belief.
It was like beach ball size, guys.
It was beach ball size, no, but like
Guys,
softball
correct me.
size on his the front of his arm, which I've always thought was the most awesome design. So something like that would be really cool.
I have a weird question. Does anyone else hear small musical tones in the background?
That's
Nope.
my daughter.
Okay. I was making sure it was Doug's, not Doug's phone.
Not Doug's
No.
phone going off and like, hey, might need some stuff.
That perfectly okay with that. Perfectly okay with that. But I told my wife the story about this tattoo, like Simon's tattoo, and she's like, "That's really cool." And I get on that level that that binary spelling out Martina's name. It's like that is a really clever. It's something really clever that only somebody who knows would know. It was a beautiful video, and seeing a full-grown man just barely holding it together made it so much more difficult.
A full-grown ripped man. Like,
Yeah,
he's
the
cut
Dothraki
too.
man.
The Thraki Man Warrior.
Anything else for this video? Tattoos? Want to talk about them?
I just like the encouragement, especially one of those things where they were honest about how hard like life has been for them, especially lately.
Yeah. It's for me that is sad, especially having watched them for 10 years, like watching her slow decline into pain, and it's just like I remember watching this when I was 19, and like this was so awesome, and just like looking into real life. Like that's something I love about their vlog style is like they do a lot of artsy fartsy stuff, but it's glimpses into real life.
Yeah, they're not faking it. You can
Yeah.
tell that that's real emotion. I think that's what's produced the longevity of their show and their vlog, because that's what people want. People want you to be honest and transparent and vulnerable with them.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool that you are opening yourself up for that on the internet. Like, we do podcasts, but I'm not sharing my struggles with everybody on my podcast. I don't know about you guys.
I've mentioned, like, I mean, I've done a little bit talking about therapy and stuff, but not a whole lot. That's actually a podcast I'm wanting to do eventually down the road, talking about mental health in the creator content arena, basically. That would actually be a really cool podcast, I feel, and really sad. No.
I think it'd be really encouraging, actually, because, I mean, your listeners are going to listen to that and be like, wow, these guys are powering through their struggles to give me content. I mean, that's how I would see it if I was a listener.
Fair.
I dig it.
Something later down. Do you want to move on to the next video? We got more?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. This one, I gotta be honest, I did not realize how long it was. I like to save my videos unless I'm sending them in. I like to save them till, like, the day of. So I loaded this one up. It's Star Wars, A Virgins in the Force, episodes 1, 2, and 3 fan edit. I was like, oh, it's a 10-minute video. I loaded it. Oh, it's a 2-hour video.
Yeah, it's a literal movie.
But it saves you from having to sit through 2 of those awful movies.
Listen, I loved it. Like, I thought it was awesome. I'm still working. Like, I haven't watched it all the way through, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Like, I watched Mr. Plinkett's reviews of the of the prequels and died laughing. And like he was like his whole point is there's a good movie in there if you just go do it. Like, yeah. And these guys did it. I loved every second of it. I'm really glad you all sent me that because I was bored one night. I got tired of playing video games. I'm just like, I don't really watch a movie. I should probably watch these YouTube roundup videos.
First was the weeping, then came Star Wars.
Then came weeping of
then
happiness.
more weeping.
Yeah. The whole
The
idea
thing I
of,
liked about it
hey,
was it didn't say that one was totally awful. It included scenes from there. Because I know normally most people are like, oh, one was awful. And I will agree for the most part, one was pretty awful.
if
but
if
it
one
saved
had
some
been
good
longer,
scenes.
I mean, like they would have had a longer battle scene with Darth Maul, and they just cut out Jar Jar Binks for the most part. I would have actually enjoyed that movie a whole lot more.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, here's the thing: they cut out like all of like the Jar Jar Binks' like past stuff, and I love that because it's just like you assume he's in Padme's entourage at the beginning. I'm like, all right, that's fine. Why do you have to go and expose that? Just let him be semi
Jar Jar.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Semi-cool. No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say Jar Jar's awesome or anything. I would probably get like butchered on the internet.
Now, I know you and I were talking about this, Sam. How does everyone feel about episode 2 in general?
2, Attack of the Clones. I like it.
I don't know. That one's a tough one. Like I like the fight scene, the giant Jedi fight scene. But like when they're on Naboo, I'm just like, Anakin, get some freaking game, dude. Quit talking about sand. You got your lady of your dreams.
Here's my thing. I will always defend Anakin's lines in that. Because I remember being like the 16-year-old who's trying to talk to girls
Hey,
unsuccessfully.
Doug, tell the
Yeah?
truth. It was 2 years ago. Carry on.
Hey, wait, I've been engaged for like years now.
I know that was the point.
Listen,
like-
I still struggle talking to women. There's no like even like I'm at women of any age. Like I just can't talk to them unless I like their family or something. It's weird.
Understandable though.
It's totally understandable, actually.
There are true story. There are days I will refer to my wife as dude or bro.
Oh yeah, I
It's
refer to
like-
my
And it's like, I'm married, have a child. Not dude or
He-
bro.
He, she, me is dude. Anybody's dude.
Yeah, I get that.
We are dude.
Dudes.
we are dude. But like, I don't know, him trying to sound cool. It was a kid who never really talked to girls, who only hung out with his master who's pushing his 30s. It's like if a 16-year-old consistently hung out with me and Sam, they'd be like, I have no idea how to talk to people in general. Like, the only people I ever talk to are either obviously still learning below me, or way older than me, and Master Yoda's like 900 years old.
And
They
a
don't
Muppet.
care
let's
about
go
what I
ahead and
say.
Let's talk about this because it's like basically you just described a homeschool kid,
Yeah, you described a homeschool kid, which was us, specifically.
which was
Yeah.
all of us.
No, I went to public school.
Okay, cool. You're the one normal one out of all of us. That's great.
You can use that term
one.
loosely.
I use that term loosely. Okay, cool.
But like Obi-Wan was pretty smooth. Obi-Wan was like suave.
Dude, he got to train with Qui-Gon Jinn. From what
Yeah,
I
see-
understand, Qui-Gon Jinn had some game.
Dude, it worked on Shmi. Didn't you see him spitting game in episode 1? It's like, hey, yo, what up, Shmi?
Hey, what up?
I
Yeah.
want to believe that was a real line.
Now I'm only
I wish it
voicing
was.
that. Hey, girl,
If George
what
Lucas
up?
is like, this is my first choice of words, and somebody came back, let's not use that. Why? It was perfect.
Hey, girl, how was that pod race? Oh, it was lit, man.
I feel like Watto would use that like language.
No, it's
What's
not.
up?
Oh, you want to do daddy? And let me be very clear. I am doing an impression of Watto, who was doing an impression of.
What racist character?
Anyway, carry on.
Very racist character. I'm pretty sure that's like the most racist character I've ever watched in a movie.
No.
Yeah, it's
You take
definitely
that
not.
back. You take that back. Transformers 2, there was the two mini Autobots that definitely spoke with,
Some very racist language.
yes.
Inflections.
And even their design was very racist.
Do you guys not remember like that in old movies they used to use blackface? Like Blazing Saddles?
But Blazing Saddles was
No one
designed
can
to be
top
funny.
Blazing Saddles for racism.
Blazing Saddles. The whole idea behind
No.
Blazing
What
Saddles.
about
was, let's see how much
Mickey
we can offend people.
Mickey Rourke or Mickey
Mickey Rooney.
and Trouble in Little China?
No,
Okay, yeah,
it was
I'll give
Pretty
you
in
that
Pink.
Oh, Pretty in Pink. My bad.
Yeah. It's something. Dang it, I can't remember his name. It's like Long Duck Dong or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen the Western film that stars only little people?
You showed
What?
me that
No,
the
I didn't
other
know that was
day.
a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna totally send you this link, and your whole world's gonna change.
Have you guys watched
It's-
Guy on a Buffalo? Speaking of westerns,
Who?
Guy on a Buffalo.
Nope.
No.
Oh.
What? I'm gonna send you guys a link. This will be y'all's next week's YouTube roundup.
I feel like we
Sounds
already-
good. I feel like we're done with YouTube roundup at this point. Why don't we go ahead and talk about
No.
our main topic?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Instead of talking about the most racist characters in movies.
Yeah.
That's a topic in itself. We could do a whole episode on that.
I feel like we should, but not at the
I
same
feel like
time.
we shouldn't.
Yeah, that's step like the line is right under our toe, and then we're gonna cross it.
It'd be like, well, now that concluded the episode and our podcast, we'll never be back. Sorry, guys.
That's the way you leave. Like so, like if you ever want to terminate the podcast, you just do that episode.
Burn the podcast down to the ground as you're leaving.
The best racist quotes that you can come up with. No, let's not do
Dude,
that.
let me actually. Speaking of this does tie in, and is very still tasteful. Someone at work one time printed 32 pages of Django Unchained quotes.
That's awesome.
It's
I want that. I want that document, please.
No. Here's how we know. They forgot to pick it up, and our boss found it.
Oh, no.
So they'll never pick it up again, is what you're saying.
What if it was just your boss? He was just like covering for himself. He's like, "Who left this here? I'm
Who
gonna
left this
confiscate
here?
this."
I'm going to take this back to my office right now.
Yeah.
I can only imagine that they're getting the script and that they're like middle schoolers are going to put on a fake Django Unchained for their school play.
Yeah, I don't think that's school appropriate.
Well, there's some
They
scenes
change-
in that movie that we'll go through, and it makes you even question if it was adult appropriate in some kind.
Yeah, like when Jamie Foxx is hanging upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I seen that movie in theaters, and you know what? For as bad as it is, it's still a good movie.
Listen, I watched that for the first time with my parents.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
I mean, my dad's a huge Westerns fan, and my mom doesn't really care, but still, that scene was real awkward.
I'm going to have to tell you my Pulp Fiction story later.
Okay, sounds good. I love Pulp Fiction, though.
Anyway, let's talk about our main topic. What part of content creation do you struggle the most with? Why don't we start with you, Tyler, as the guest?
Oh wow! You just give me the hardest question of the show. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Like, oh, here, catch. Oh, great.
No, like the hardest thing for me is to find time because I mean I work a full-time job outside the podcast, and then I'm trying to do like extra YouTube content too. It's just, and my guys are super cool. They're always on the podcast. They're always ready to go. It's just they don't know how to video edit, and that's not their problem. Like that's not their fault. It's just finding the time to put all the content I want to put out. And then, like, me and Derrick have talked about this before. It's just, like, it takes, like, an hour of gameplay. Then it takes, like, maybe 2 hours to edit that. It takes another hour to upload it and put it everywhere. It's just, that's, like, another 8-hour job a week. But, like, here's the thing. I love doing it. And after, I leave my full-time job, I think this would be something I wanted to pursue. So it's at least I have a resume. And then also, like, another thing that I find really difficult is just say your gameplay sucked. Like I've had just some trash, some very trash.
I watched your stream the other day. I can attest.
That's
Yeah,
like, yeah, that or that's like me every day, man.
Well, the one that Derrick's talking about, I at least had one win in that garbage. I called that video the Diamond of the Rough, or Diamond in the Rough, or whatever. But yeah, like sometimes you just gotta give up playing and try it again the next day. I don't know.
I can understand that. What about you, Doug?
I think for me is, I mean, Sam knows because he actually gave me the computer I use. It's the, I mean, let me tell you a story about today. As we're preparing for the podcast, my computer's driver, like display driver, the ATI, decided, nah, I'm done, and it blue screened on me. And I was like, cool, awesome, yes. But It's the getting all the necessary components to make a video good and seeing the end goal, but not being able to reach it quite yet. If that makes sense. Like, you know what you want to do, but it's taking those individual steps and not going off on a different way. Like, wanting to record, I don't know, Fortnite. We were talking about Fortnite earlier. Record that. Well, there's a lot of components in that. You obviously need to do the video editing. You need to capture it. And probably one of the most important things is you have to practice it and actually be getting better to show that it's not just like...
that's definitely, like, so any competitive game, that's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
because I can
it's
sit
not
there
just-
for an hour and suck at Splatoon.
Yeah.
But
I can't go through
No
and
one's
play
gonna wanna
PUBG
watch that.
after I've been gone for like 3 weeks and expect to get in the top 5.
Well, that's how that one stream that Derrick watched was. Like, I'd taken a week break, and like I was just like, I have to stream. This is for the podcast network, and then I need to make a video out of it, or else this is just wasted time. And luckily got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I think Sam might attest to this, but like having that balance of it looks like I'm playing a video game, trying to get better at Fortnite, but also I really need to spend time with, for Sam it's his wife, for me it's like my fiance. She's like, "Oh, we should watch this TV show." And it's like, I really was hoping to go home and play this so that way I can start getting better so I can stream this. But I really want to spend time with you because, like, we work all the time. We both work 40-hour-a-week jobs and have completely different days off.
Yep.
And
Yeah, no,
so
I hear that. That's tough.
And so it's that trying to balance being off at the same time, because we work the exact same shift, different days. So it's that, well, you're home, so I can't really do a lot of recording because, I'm not going to be like, shut up, I'm trying to record this, so, turn off the TV, for lack of better words. I'm not going to do that. I refuse to do that and be like, hey, can you keep it down? Can you put headphones in? No. We live in the same space. It's just her space just as much as it's my space. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't struggle that much with that. Like, because I'm single, and then I live at home with my parents, and like I see my parents at dinner and stuff, and they don't really, like, not that they don't want to spend time with me. It's just like that's not, like, that's where I'm really lucky. And like me and my guys, we're all like 23, 24, so we haven't like started our life yet. So I could not imagine taking my work schedule and my content schedule and then adding family matters onto that. That's tough.
And I would say that I have it easier than Sam and Derrick. They both have a kid.
Yeah, that's a whole nother dynamic that you get used to, man.
I just have my cats.
You can hear right now the baby cooing in the background and Allison entertaining.
Yeah. I would say, do you want to talk about what you find the hardest? And I'll pull the rear.
I would say with content creation, it's just that time management. Like everybody's saying, basically the matter of, you have the priorities and the responsibilities you have to take care of in life, whether it's finances, your family, and everything else. And the true joy about content creating for me is it's things that are fun and it's things that I enjoy. But it gets really hard when you're trying to balance the rest of your life and you have now a small child to take care of and you have just 2 different schedules with you and your spouse, and then also with all of us, we have all different schedules. I mean, for all 4 of all 4 of us here, we basically probably don't line up at any day whatsoever, if I'm not mistaken. Except for Saturday evenings after work kind of thing.
Yeah. And Sundays,
Yeah.
except in the evenings.
Yeah, Sundays, except in the evenings. But it's a matter of going through, and for me, just getting the time in order to produce, because whenever I do produce, it's one of those things I enjoy, and it means a lot to me. And it means so much more because it's like, hey, we put this time and effort into it when it finally gets published. And it's something that's appreciated, but it's really hard when, some people out there, this is their whole life. That's all they do the entire time. And it's like, wow, that must be nice. But at the same time, it's like, that's also not who I am, basically. I can't go through and I can't just become that overnight. And I can't just leave my job or just ignore any of my family members. It's something that if there's not any fun to be had, I guess it's kind of something to be really just... I'm trying to think of what I'm saying here. Basically, content creation time, if you have the time to do it and you do it, it's what makes it special. So the same thing that causes the struggle and that I struggle with is the same thing that makes content creation fun, in my opinion. But I don't know about what you guys think.
Oh no, yeah. When I make something and like, I do it in my spare time and I think it's hilarious, and other people go and think it's hilarious. That means a lot. Like that's why I have like, not that I want to say I put all my aspirations in what YouTube thinks, but if 2 people watch my video and comment say, "Dude, that was hilarious," like that made my day.
That's a victory.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the small wins that make the big victory in the end.
Yeah. Mine is a little bit more... I mean, I could go about the family and everything, but I think we've got that covered, and that's true. But I think my biggest thing is, and I think, Tyler, you might be able to emphasize on this, or empathize would be the better word. It's having so many ideas to do something and not being able to execute half of them.
Yeah, I mean, like you've hit the nail on the head, because, well, I mean, me and Doug were even talking about it on like when he was guesting or being a guest on our show. Like we've been planning this since like December, like, and we finally got to do it.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's awesome that it's working out. But like, we had so many other ideas that, granted, we would love to do, and they're great ideas. It's just we can't do it. We can't coordinate everything. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think the other part is seeing things that you've created and editing it for so many hours, basically working that full-time job on the editing side, and then for me it's like getting one view. It's like, my wife watched this. Cool, that was 8 hours of my life.
No, yeah, definitely feel that.
You're just sitting there going, I'm streaming to an empty room. I'm recording a video and no one's watching. It's like, I'm having a good time, but in the back of my mind I'm going, no one's going to watch this, so what's the point?
Yeah.
I think the hardest part is the mental aspect.
And that's something you got to overcome. Like, if somebody watches a video of yours and they come up and ask you later, so what was the hardest part of that? Well, it was me being in an empty room hoping someone was going to watch this. And I really want to I really appreciate you checking it out. Like, taking 20 minutes to watch it, or taking like your commute to listen to our podcast. No, yeah, like the stream that I had to you and like all those people in my stream, like that was the most people I'd ever had watching me. And I think it was like maybe 7 to 10 people.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Like, I was on cloud 9 at that point. Like, even though I had that one guy, like he was trolling me, but like that he had enough, like he cared enough to watch me play. Like, that was awesome.
But troll hunting is
Agree
fun sometimes.
Something that's kind of fun is, have you ever not been on one of your podcasts, like an episode of your podcast there, Tyler?
I've been on every episode.
It's going to sound strange. Find a day to not be on the podcast, and then you can go and listen to the podcast. I know when, a couple weeks ago, I wasn't able to be on the podcast, and it was just Sam and Derrick. I had a lot of fun listening to it, because it's like, I get to listen to this. Like, even though I'm listening to it now, it's still that, oh my gosh, I literally do not know what they're going to talk about.
Yeah, that would be, like, that'd be awesome. And like I said, it's never happened. One thing that I can gauge, one thing that I really do enjoy doing is when I edit, is actually listen to our jokes and see if I still laugh. And I think, like, if I got that, like, if editing it was my first time hearing it, that would be awesome. I think that'd be crazy. Just to see how, like, this sounds really bad, like I'm dogging my guys, but just to see how much effort they want to put into it and how much they care about it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can definitely tell you that back when it was just Derrick and I on the podcast, before Sam and Mish joined in, like there's an energy, but then we added a third person, and it got so much more energetic. Because, for lack of words, Derrick and I, we sound almost, sometimes identical, because
You
we're
guys
twins.
literally do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, cool, I'm listening to two non-distinct people talk about the same thing with the same past, who have the same, thought processes, agreeing on basically everything. Cool. That's not exciting. Well, enter Sam and enter Mish, who, very different people, very different, thought processes. I may think, episode 1 was hilarious of Star Wars, and Sam's like, nah, that's stupid.
Hey,
It's
I didn't
that
say that.
synergy.
I think that it was actually a decent movie.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's that being able to bounce ideas off opposing views and even differing views. It's really exciting. And even things like collaborations with you guys. Like, I had a lot of fun on your podcast there, Tyler.
Dude, I had
And-
fun too. You were great. It was hilarious.
That kind of energy, it kind of puts the fuel back in the tank of like, all right, cool. I'm going to go, get off this podcast. I'm going to go finish up my laundry. And I'm going to go play Fortnite on Xbox because I can get better. And then we can eventually stream and hang out and chit-chat. And it's one of those, it keeps the momentum going of being able to collaborate with new minds.
Yeah, and like that's so. I mentioned that like I have a podcast network now, and like I think our initial idea was just to have it to retweet each other's stuff, so your followers will see my stuff and my followers will see your stuff. But like the cool thing about it is like whether I'm hanging out with you guys on your all show or hanging out with them on their show, I'm still having fun because I genuinely like you people. Like that's the thing. Like I think when you collaborate, it makes content way easier because, like you said, it's something new. It mixes it up and it gives you some energy. But also, you see somebody that you enjoy hanging out with, and you're just hanging out with them. You're just recording what you're talking about, and then on the other part is, you're both doing what you enjoy. I don't know. It's crazy that whether it was like one tiny change up of instead of having Chris on our show this week, we had you, and that just boosted me and Lucas into laughing like 10 times more just because your humor is different than Chris's. Like it's I can't put it into words for like people that don't podcast or make content, but I hopefully like you guys can understand what I'm saying.
It's that moment when you ask yourself, why aren't we recording this?
Yeah,
I know, I
yeah.
think we may have talked about this, but like on like Sunday afternoons, me, Derrick, and one of our buddies, we all play Dark Souls together. And there are times where we just start laughing, and we're just like, why aren't we recording this? And then we all realize it's because it's like very not friendly. Because of course we're raging at the game. And so it's like, there's probably a good reason we don't want this around for, video and audio evidence later. This might hurt my eventual political career. But like,
There are a lot of things that
that
will hurt my eventual political career.
right?
I think that there is a good example of what you were talking about, Tyler. You start talking about Star Wars and end up talking about movie tropes that are incredibly racist.
Yeah, like
That's not something that would have happened had the collaboration not occurred. So
Yeah.
it's one of those, like, there's a moment where it's like, you had the ability to riff just a little bit right there. You're just like, okay, cool, we're riffing, and now we're talking about Mickey Rourke and Pretty in Pink. Mickey Rooney and Pretty in Pink.
yeah.
I would want to see Mickey Rourke in Pretty in Pink.
I want him to see him play Molly Ringwald in Pretty in Pink. I don't care about any
you
other.
go.
Yeah.
I think.
But it's like butterfly effect almost. Is like, had we not done the collaboration, we might not have got to that joke, and then where would the end of the podcast be? Like,
Yeah. I think there's one other really difficult aspect that I think we can all somewhat agree on one level or another. One of the most difficult parts is working in a group.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Because I'm gonna drop some truth bombs here, and take it however you will. When you're working in a group, even if it's your brother, your best friend, the guy at church or a complete random person that you're working with, there's always that internal feeling, and I think it's the selfish feeling of I'm doing all the work here.
Oh yeah.
You suggest a new show. Well, who's end up going to put it on? Whose shoulders is it going to be on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mine.
I mean, I would know I was guilty of this feeling when we were doing the bite-sized news. It was just like, I gotta look at all these articles. I gotta write down a script. I got to get this ready so that way he can read it, so he can get on the camera and da 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 da. Da. This is just I'm doing everything. And I'm sure you were sitting on the other side of the screen going, can you just hurry up with the script? I want to get this done. I'm doing everything. I'm recording it. I'm editing it. Can this get worse? We're thinking the exact same thing about the same project.
Or,
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, like
or reviews.
I 100% agree. It's like, and I there was a moment today where we were talking about doing interviews and stuff about for a different thing, and I was like, okay, cool, that sounds like a great idea. Who's going to end up doing it?
Yeah.
And my selfish thought was, because I stream the most, I get the podcast together, I edit the podcast, I upload the podcast, I do everything else, so it's going to fall on my shoulder eventually. It's like, no, you're part of a group, calm down, don't be so dramatic.
no, yeah, I go through that a lot. I just like, why is it always me? But then being a guest on a podcast is my favorite thing because all I have to do is set up my mic. Like that's like it's awesome. Like granted, today it took a little bit longer for your all's show, but like I don't have to edit. Sure I have to export this file and send it to you, but I don't have to think of a catchy title for it. I don't have to think of a description for it. I just have to click WAV and send it to Derrick. I love that. Like I was on Play Comics last week, it's just like talk about video games and comics, and I was like, man, it feels like I was dreading it at first, and I'm like, hey, I don't have to edit. I don't have to set up the video camera. I don't have to set up anything. All I gotta do is do this.
I click hang up and I go fold socks.
Yeah, like that's
if
it.
If anything goes wrong, it's not my problem.
Exactly, and that sounds really bad, but it's so true.
It entirely is. That's partially because it's one of those, like I record like the master track, all the individual tracks, and edit, and it's like if anything goes wrong, it's almost like I gotta figure it out. Okay, what am I gonna do? It's like I've actually not guessed it on another podcast to go. That's entirely true. When this is done, I'm done. That's awesome.
I recommend trying it if you ever get time. It's the bomb.
I'll have to do that. Anything else that you guys can think that's super like that people don't see, and people always talk about why content creation is so good and everything. But what else do you guys struggle with? Anything else, or are we good?
Technology can sometimes be a butt.
Technology and also the price of technology that you need.
Yeah. Price of technology is huge.
Stupid
I was going
GPU miners.
Yeah. I was gonna make that joke, but I was like, eh.
One thing is explaining it to people and listening to them explain it back, and it not sounding demeaning, if that makes sense. So, like, earlier this week, my fiance was saying something. She goes, and you're going to record your little podcast. I'm like, nope, stop right there. Drop a little, and let's restart this conversation. She's like, I don't understand. I don't understand why you're getting, bent out of shape. I'm like, because if I said, hey, on Tuesday, are you going to go hang out with your little friend? I go, that sounds really demeaning to me. Like, I know your friend. I'm friends with your friend. That sounds like I'm insulting them.
Was that the friend
She's
you
like,
unfriended?
okay, yeah. No. I mean, I'm only down to 35. But, like, it's one of those, hearing someone explain it and being like, okay, I know they don't mean it demeaning. And that's what I told them. Like, I know you aren't demeaning about it, but when you use that, like, language, it sounds like it is.
No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. My parents are like that. Like they'll want to go like out to eat, and I'll be like, no, I can't go out to eat. I'll just eat something here, and they're like, oh, you have to do your dumb show. I'm like, no, listen, this is something I enjoy. They don't say dumb show. They don't like. They're not that like
They're not like
deprecating, but like
they're not
It's
like
like you're
running
gonna do
that
your
70s
thing.
show.
yeah, no, but you can pick up the undertones. It's just I don't think they realize that like had I known I wanted to do this all along, I might not be an engineer, or I might have chose a different career path. Like this is something that's an avenue for me to do something else with my life.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they realize that. But what's on the other hand, like my friends that listen, they're like, dude, when are you going to record another podcast? Dude, that joke was hilarious. Like, I have friends that actually text me, that was so true. And
You're
what's
just like, can I get
crazy?
some context?
Yeah. Like, I just the two opposite ends of the spectrum can make you either feel like utter crap, or make you feel like a celebrity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When Doug talked about how people talk about it or trying to explain it, anybody else have a hard time explaining it so it doesn't sound like you record adult activities?
Yeah,
I
that
do
is-
internet media. What's that mean? It's easier than going I record for
The
Twitch
prawn.
and I have a podcast and YouTube. It's like I do internet media.
You mean like
Oh.
the prawns? No.
Yeah,
not
it's
the
like
prawns.
okay. I know this sounds sketchy, but it's not. Trust me.
I just
It's
sit in
not.
my basement on the weekends in front of a microphone. You know what? I've lost you already.
You
I
even have
play
to say
Dungeons and
webcam.
Dragons.
It's kind of like explaining ASMR to people without sounding creepy. It's like
Yeah.
no.
ASMR
I really
is
just-
creepy. I don't care who you
Yeah, I
are.
was about to say it's one of those things where you're like, what is going on right now?
It's very creepy to explain. I really enjoy it. Really super creepy to explain. It's just like, yeah, I'm listening to like IKEA's ASMR. It's literally them talking about things that are in their IKEA catalog. I'm sorry? What?
What?
That's an actual video, by the way, guys.
Oh, okay. We're gonna
Yeah.
like feature that one next week. I hope you know.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
going to.
I
Next
just
week-
call it internet press, like internet journalism or stuff like that.
Yeah, that's actually a smart idea. But then people go, oh, like BuzzFeed, and it's like, please don't lump me in with those people.
No, I'll take that. That's a trash compliment, but it's like a backhanded
It's a
one. I'll
trash
take it.
compliment, but I'll take
It's
it.
like the Blaze.
Like Breitbart.
That's when you go like, yeah, like IGN. That's what you just like to steer them the way you want it to go.
Yeah, like Kotaku or Polygon.
Yeah.
So Tyler, quick question: do you have anybody that you work with or friends with that also do content creation?
I mean, you guys are.
I mean,
my
other
friends.
than us.
Yeah.
Other than us.
I have a friend.
I have one buddy that he was a year behind me in high school. He's trying to do the Twitch stuff. His name's Matt Multiplication. He's a really cool dude. And what's awesome is like when he first started, he was on our show, and like he always, if I'm ever in the chat, he plugs us too, and I can always bounce ideas off of him, which is amazing. Just having him there and he understands it, or when me and Derrick chat on Discord, it's usually like, hey, it's okay. This is therapy.
Let it out. It's a safe space.
But yeah, I was about to ask that because it's like, do you ever have that problem where it's like we're talking about the exact same thing? Like, I want you to watch our stuff, but I need you to also share it. If that makes sense. Like, it's getting
Yeah.
people to share it without being like, share it right now.
Oh yeah, no, I beg for reviews on iTunes. But
Do we have
one
a
great thing-
video of you begging for reviews on iTunes?
I mean, I could make one.
Okay,
I don't
we'll see
have it.
that.
Hey, Sam, I have a review for iTunes.
But like every time I get a chance, I plug review and stuff. But what's I know I keep plugging the podcast network, and I don't mean to or anything. It's just like
Actually, why don't you go ahead and do that now? That would be it's actually kind of a good segue to our next part. So why don't you go ahead and plug your podcast?
so like plug my podcast or podcast network.
You know what? Both.
So we're Better Than Static, and like we're a conversational comedy podcast with emphasis on nerd culture, so like movies and comics and stuff, and video games. Because I'm a part of a podcast network called Crossplay Compatible, and it's a major more video game than other nerd culture, but they're really cool people. And the cool thing about it is, like, you know, I consider them friends too. Like, we hang out on Discord and stuff, and what's awesome is, like, in our group chat, you can ask for retweets or any, like, media share guilt free, because, like, we all do it, and you know, we all will retweet it, we'll all like it. And I think that's, like, it's a support group. It's like you have AA and a Twitter message or a Discord message, and you're just like, all right, yeah, I'll spread the word. And I think that's really awesome, because I know you guys had, like, we talked about it. You all had were in, like, a podcast network or something a long time ago, and, like, you never got the reciprocation of retweets and stuff. And like, that is really selfish on the other people's part. You just have to find people with, like, a similar goal of, hey, I want to encourage you to keep doing content because I like your content, and then you have to do the same. And it's all about reciprocation, because you can't have successful friendships if you don't feel the same way about the other person.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Agreed.
And, like, there's a bunch of other cool podcasts on the podcast network besides us. There's, like I said, Play Comics. Chris Osborne has a great show of relating old video games to comics and how, like, they're alike. And you have Cake Bites, which is Katie Barber, who does her actual history and chronology of her gaming experience. And then, like, Gamer Heads and the Controller Throwers, like, they just have good conversation of people that are, like, older than me talking about video games, which is great. Like, they're awesome. And then, like, we just got a new one called Game Science, and, like, they explain realistic physics through games sometimes. Like, I know right now they're talking about Overwatch and how, like, some of the weapons could be real and stuff like that. And like, all through this time, like, they're doing the same thing for me, and I think that's awesome. Like, I really enjoy, like, I really appreciate them doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I hadn't realized that there was a bunch of them like that in there, and I'm like, I am gonna go listen to them, like, tomorrow.
Today.
I just have one question. You
Yeah.
said that they're older than you. Do you realize that we're, like, all nearly 30?
Yeah, no, like,
Okay.
older than me doesn't mean you're old. They're just like I think Roger from Gamerheads is actually,
I'm teasing you.
he's older than you guys too. So, like, he's got a lot of different gaming experience than I do. That, like, and I think it's really cool because we have, like, every end of the spectrum there.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
just
I'm really young.
kidding.
I'm a baby. I'm 23. Which, ladies,
Honestly,
hit me up.
I-
I'm 23.
He's single.
And
what I
ready
heard.
to mingle.
I really wish that I had gotten more into the content creation when I was your age. And that sounds really
Yeah, no,
condescending. I
no,
really don't mean it to be.
I understand.
But-
You, like, I have probably 7 years on. Like, if you're 30 right now, I'm 23. I have 7 years more content that I can make to meet
I will be
you.
28 this year.
Oh, you'll be 28. Well, you said 30 earlier, and I heard 30.
I said
so-
nearly 30. I said,
Whatever,
let's
whatever.
add some years.
I have 5 years on you. Whatever.
But
That's still
no,
half a decade, man.
Yeah.
I do wish, like, does anybody remember a long time ago, there was a website called,
Elom's World.
not E-Bombs World, but yes. There was, like, one that was, like, Justin TV, or what was it, it was literally livestream.tv or .com. It was,
Yeah, then
it was, like, before Let's Plays and streams were a thing, you could live stream.
Dude, I've never heard of that. I'm sorry.
I thought about, like, when I would have been 18 or 19 in 2009.
In 2009,
And
I was
like-
a freshman, so I was like 14.
And I was like, I wish I could do this. And I had some of the stuff to do it, and I just never done it. And then you come up and it's like, Rooster Teeth's 15-year anniversary. Oh, look, Twitch and Ninja and Drake. And it's like,
I mean,
19-year-old me was stupid.
it's like, hey, I remember, like, Red versus Blue. It's like, man, that would be so cool to do that. And then we never did anything like it.
Then you look at it now and you're like, I am not nearly... Like,
Cool enough.
I think if Red versus Blue tried to start now, it wouldn't take off.
No.
No.
Well, somebody would already beat them to it. Like, what's crazy is any idea you think of, it's already been done.
They started Machinima.
Yeah. Like, I want to... Okay, so this is going to sound really nerdy, but I think you guys will appreciate it. I've actually got 5 episodes written of a machinima in GTA called LSDs. It's like Miami Vice meets Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
What system?
I'm on Xbox One, so but like I would be if I got to keep writing and producing it, like it could be on any system, whatever. Like I would, like I'm going to RTX this summer. I'm taking my script and I'm gonna hopefully give it to Bernie Burns and say, hey, could you critique this?
I dig it.
I applaud you, sir.
I mean, if you do,
Like-
let us know, man. I'd be really excited.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
hear
no,
about
like
that, man.
I need people. I'd also need equipment as well. That's a different thing. But
Let's talk.
yeah, like if RVB started in a spare bedroom of a house, if they can do it, why can't I? Like that is my whole thing. Like I would love to be a part of Rooster Teeth. I'd love to do my own thing other than Rooster Teeth. Anything, I want to do it. Like I want to at least go out on a limb and try it, because you're never gonna know unless you do it.
Plugging a job. I do know that Rooster Teeth is hiring a podcast producer.
Yeah, the thing that sucks for me right now is I'm under contract. I'm kind of like the Army, but for the state of Kentucky. So I'm like,
Aha.
I'm an engineer that's contracted to the state for 2 more years. That sucks because there's so many opportunities that I could take right now. Like IGN needed a content editor. They needed a producer in Austin. Like there's just, I'm so frustrated that I'm not freed up to go do that stuff.
Real
But-
fast, gentlemen, Derek included. Grand Theft Auto is $30 on Xbox right now.
Dude, what? I had to pay freaking $60.
Excuse me for a minute.
Well, hey, at least you guys have the Xbox One to go with it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to gaming news
Yeah.
before we talk more about stuff. The Chrono Trigger on PC is getting the patch to enable original pixel art graphics, and I say good.
Woo!
Yes.
Retro.
Did
I
you
mean-
play the original Chrono Trigger there, Tyler?
I have not, but I do love. I looked up the art style, and I think the pixel art's gonna look amazing.
Akira Toriyama, baby! The original Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Okay, movie news. How DC's movies have improved on the comics. I watched that, and I somewhat agree, actually. Talking about like how the Fortress of Solitude definitely influenced the way Krypton is viewed.
False.
How Bane was done.
False.
Dude.
It's totally true.
Listen,
All
I
of
just
it.
wish DC was good.
Yeah.
Because I'm the biggest DC fanboy. Like, I have like 4 or 5 boxes of comics that are all DC.
See,
I just
Speaking of
want,
which, Tyler, let me go ahead and plug something for you.
yeah.
It's called Hoopla. You can actually read comic books online through a library.
You betcha.
Yeah, dude, you
Like,
were telling me
all
about that.
the-
Yeah.
All the current comic books. Right now, I think it's all the new Green Lantern comics out.
I'd like to interject here and say, not sponsored, but if you want.
Well, I mean, it's what me and Sam do all day.
It's true.
Not sponsored, but if you want, you know.
Doug, I
So, I mean-
appreciate that you're a huge Green Lantern fan just like me.
But that and the Flash. Green Lantern Flash.
Green
Basically,
Lantern Flash is great.
yeah.
And
it
then
is.
Green Arrow in there, 3 of a kind, like back
Oh,
in the
yeah.
day.
It put in the question, and you can live on.
Yeah, the question would be awesome. Or Spectre.
Yeah, Hoopla. Let's go back to Hoopla real fast.
Okay, yeah.
Through the library, I'm actually not going to list the library because I'm not sure if... Oh, wait, Sam, are we allowed to list the library?
I don't think you are.
Okay. We will. I will tell you about that library later. But through the Hoopla service, you can actually read comics, and I have all the Power Rangers I read, and you get like 10 titles a month. So
You
you
also
can
got The Walking Dead.
14. Yeah, they do have the Walking Dead, Mega Man comics,
Ooh.
I need to get in on
Sonic, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Aliens. Xeno.
Yep.
Yep.
Some Robotech books.
that. Do they have Invincible by Image?
They might. They have Saga.
Dude, Saga's lit.
But anyway.
Nice.
So I'm gonna have to send you a message on how to
We'll go through.
how to
we'll
join
send
this.
all
You
how
also
do
got to
this.
send me a message about that coffee you want me to pick you up.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Anything else, gentlemen, before we wrap this up?
Think that's about
I'm
it.
going to Marble City Comic Con,
Oh, nice.
April 21st.
Ooh. Where
Which
at?
is in Knoxville.
Ooh. I'm sure.
Derek's like, oh, I might actually have to visit family for once.
You shut your mouth, and I know my mother does not listen to this, so yes, it would be the only reason I go to Knoxville.
Listen, if you do, try. I've gotten press passes for the past. I went to LexCon, Cincinnati Comic Con, and Derby City Comic Con, which was where I met you guys. Press passes are super cool, and I'm really I really appreciate Comic Cons allowing me and my podcast to go and just interview content creators, because those content creators want people to hear about their stuff. So I put it on YouTube. It's the best way to go, and it's just there's so much content you can make in relationships. Like I said, I met you guys at Derby City. It's crazy how much contacts I've gotten from Comic Cons.
Yeah, that's entirely true. I think you're the lasting contact that came through. I don't keep in touch with the guy who thought Hitler did nothing wrong.
Is that the guy that was
that's
dressed
probably
up
smart.
like
Weirdly enough, I
Blade
lost
from Blade
contact
Runner?
with. You
Is that
what?
the guy that was dressed up like the Blade Runner?
No. That was the guy who was dressed up as, the one guy from South Park, the World of Warcraft guy?
Yeah. The guy who makes no noises the entire time?
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah,
that.
he should have not made any noises, from what I heard.
it was pretty bad. but yeah, I'm going to SuperCon here in Louisville.
Dude, I'm gonna try to go. It's in November again, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna apply for press passes again. Are y'all doing press, or are you just gonna go as attendees?
I'm considering press.
Press is awesome. Like I said, I've met so many people and kept contact. Like Lydia Scherer, who's she's an author who does mage books and stuff, and she's really cool.
Yeah.
And then Brian Rodman, I knew before Comic Cons, but he's writing Angel or Memoirs of an Angel, and he's going to be on our show in June when his Kickstarter starts up. And then Hydra Publications, we interview them all the time. They're super cool people. Also have some great books. It's just crazy that all these people who are way bigger names than me still care about that I put their stuff on YouTube.
Yeah. And talking about it right now, so you can share it with them now.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, anything else, gentlemen?
I think that's about it.
I'm
Sorry, I have
agreeing,
a baby right now.
Got it.
I literally from my phone bought Grand Theft Auto 5, so we're gonna have to talk about this.
Okay, yeah. I'm up for it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Tyler. It was lovely having you on.
Thank you for lying and saying it was lovely. I'm probably trash.
No, it was good. It was good. Dude,
Pleasure to
have
meet
you
you,
listened to episode 1 of this podcast?
No,
Yes,
For the first time
I
that
jumped
tried
in
to do
after
it,
I met you guys.
It's really awkward.
It's probably a good point.
episode 1, it was literally just me. I hadn't got Doug on yet. It was like, and in the news, you can buy a King Jaguar.
It's like an old BBC
from-
broadcast.
And I'm here eating my milk biscuits.
Our first episode has never seen the light of day. It was on Lucas's phone, which is one of my co-hosts. He deleted he got rid of that phone just because of that episode.
What happened to it? We never talk about that.
Don't. It's have you seen Ted 2 where they hide John's computer in the bottom of the river?
Nope.
Oh well, you should go look that up on YouTube. It's pretty funny.
All right. I will. All right, gentlemen. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys
Yeah.
later.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. And thank you to all of our listeners out there, because we really couldn't do it without you. We hope you enjoyed this week's Gaming and Chill podcast. If you'd like to know more about the podcast, follow us on social media, or learn how to support the podcast directly, check us out at www.gamingandchillpodcast.com. Also, be sure to stay up to date with Gaming and Chill by following us on Twitter at gaming_in_chill. Yes, that is gaming_in as in Nancy _chill. You can also find links to the articles, games, and videos mentioned in this podcast in the description below. Thanks again for watching, and until next time.